Hello and welcome to the fort for this bi-district championship baseball matchup, a rematch of last week's softball matchup between the Legacy Rebels and Eastwood Troopers. A pretty nice evening here for this game one of the best of three. There'll be one tonight, one tomorrow night, and then a Saturday morning, if needed, game three. On the mound for the Troopers, the junior and RGV commit, Brandon Gomez, as he gets us started with a strike there. Cole Netherland is at the plate for the Rebels, and he's going to see two quick strikes, so he's now down 0-2 in the count. Gomez now in the 0-2, and that one's going to be popped up. Nunez over there chasing it. Zamora over there chasing it now, calling Nunez off in foul territory, and that's going to be our first out of the evening as Zamora gets over there. So Gomez makes quick work of Netherland, and now Chavez will come up to the plate for the Rebels. Rebels wearing maroon and white pinstripes tonight. The Troopers in the navy top, white pinstripe bottom, white hat. As that gets in there for a strike. So Gomez in full control right now of his pitches. The 0-1, it's going to be a grounder over there to Gabe Hernandez at third. It should go down as an E5, but a smoker over there to the hot corner. So now Drew Martin's going to come up, catcher for the Rebels tonight, as we're going to have a quick courtesy for the Rebels. Jace Colmia is going to be the courtesy runner. So let's tell you how we got here a little. The Troopers finished second in District 1 6A, of course behind the America's Trailblazers in front of the East Lake Falcons and Montwood Rams. Troopers kind of had a really up and down season, but did really well finding their grooves when they had them and just playing good baseball towards the end to get where we are now. The Rebels are the 3 seed out of 2 6A. They were behind the Friendship Tigers and Midland High, two really good baseball programs. And if you're thinking, haven't I seen an Eastwood versus Legacy baseball matchup pretty recently? Yes, you have. 2 years ago, we were over in Midland as Gomez gets the count quickly to no balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, and a runner at first. So Martin at the plate. But continuing, the Troopers and Rebels played in Midland, a 3-game series on a hot weekend that we were out there for, being Justice Urbita. As that one goes foul now, so the count's going to stay at 0-2. So Colmia at first takes a healthy lead, and Gomez going to check over, called safe on the throwback. And I kind of figured it was just time before Gomez checked over, as Colmia was kind of getting a little too far off. That was a kind of weird slide there by Colmia. The slide kind of got caught on the turf there and his body just kind of didn't go with it. He had to bear crawl a little over there, as that one by Martin's going to be lined to the Diego Rivera in center field. He's not going to be able to get to it. It's going to land in front of him and rolled away a little, but a good two-strike approach there by Martin to just get on, and that's a single. Now the Rebels have runners at the corners, 1 gone.
Good job, Jace. Good read.
That's one of those things, an error always hurts you, especially early on, and put a runner on. And now Colmia's on third with 1 out, so anything that really exits the infield more than likely going to score him. Set up the Troopers' defense a little. Brandon Gomez, of course, on the mound. Noah Nunez at first, Isaiah Zamora at second, Corby Wagner filling up the shortstop. Gabe Hernandez over at third. Quineros over there in left. Diego Rivera in center. And then Zosimo Rivera in right. The twin duo. So now Caden Olivas steps up to the Rebels steps up to the plate for the Rebels and a chance to do some damage. 0-1 count, runners at the corners. Gomez on the 0-1, and that's going to get fouled back to the net. And a pretty packed night here at the Fort. Some really good weather, too. Last week we got kind of pounded with the wind. Had those brown skies for a while, but a pretty beautiful night. No clouds in sight, sun setting as Gomez checks over to third, but throws it back to first. They're going to get a pickle as Valdero at first. The runner's going to take off home, and man, that worked out perfectly for the Rebels. Troopers got caught up in the pickle with Prado over there at first. He's the courtesy runner, and Colmia just does a great job of watching to see what's happening. He noticed Corby Wagner took his eyes off home for a little too long, and they were able to get a run. So a quick run for the Rebels. The error is going to turn into a run early on that Hernandez committed. And now Prado is at second. So another runner in scoring position, as that's going to be a strikeout right there for Brandon Gomez as Olivas takes a healthy hack, but it's going to take a seat. So a weird sequence of events as the Rebels ahead 1-0. Now 2 gone and a runner at second. Rebels can still do some damage here in this inning. As that one's going to be popped up. It's going foul. And it's going to get out of here. So 0-1 count now. Gomez trying to get out of an inning that was prolonged with an error and a hit. We do have a final over in softball. Keller Indians going to take down Uris with Troopers 1-0 over there at Midland Legacy High School. They're playing over there is Corby Wagner. And another error for the Troopers as he was fighting the sun on that play. And Prado is going to score from second on the air from Wagner. And Cordero is going to get over to second. So a flip basically for the runners, for the Rebels. Another run, another error. Got to kind of feel for Wagner there, fighting the sun. Has sunglasses on top of his hat, but not on, so. And this inning, what kind of looked after that first at-bat, kind of going to be a quick inning, is turned into kind of just a sloppy inning for the Troopers. 2 errors now on the left side corner between Hernandez and Wagner, both on tough plays. But in playoff baseball, you can never get too complacent with the outs they give you, as that one's going to be fouled off by Hayes. He goes quickly to a 0-1 count. So Duncan Hayes at bat for the Rebels. He's going to get called for strike number 2 there on the lower half. So the 0-2 from Gomez, and that one's going to be fouled back once again, so Hayes not going to go down easy. So 0-2 once more now from Gomez, trying to end the inning. That one's going to be lined straight to Zamora. He's going to play it off the hop. He's going to toss it over to Nunez, and that's all the first inning's going to have. But the Rebels are going to do some damage on the two Trooper errors, and they plated two. So the Rebels leading the Troopers after one half, 2-0. We'll be right back with you from Fort Eastwood Field. And welcome you back to Fort Eastwood Field is a tough first half of a first inning for the Troopers defensively, but now they're going to try to get it back as Diego Rivera leads off. He's been the leadoff man for the Troopers pretty much all season long. Does a really good job of working counts, not a guy that you're going to see attack too early in the count and kind of let the pitcher settle in. And count's gonna go quickly to 2 balls, no strikes on what looked to be close there. Trajan Chavez is on the mound for the Rebels. He is their Thursday night starter. Of course, this is a best-of-3 series, so both teams kind of got to play the chess match here, which pitchers they want to go first. Kind of got to play it like a college series where you got your Friday night starter, which would kind of be your ace usually, and then your Saturday starter, and then your Sunday starter. So both coaches will have to kind of figure out what the best plan of action is. It counts 2-1, and Rivera is going to ground one over there to Lewis at short, and Rivera is not going to get over to first in time, so a 6-3 is going to lead to the first out of the inning.
Number 19, Victor Quiñones.
So Victor Quiñones, the left fielder, he's going to come up to bat now for the Troopers, the 2-hole hitter. So Chavez to Quiñones to start off the at-bat, and that's going to get in there on the outside part for strike number 1. The 0-1 to Quiñones, and he's going to look at that one. That one's a bit high. Count's going to go to 1-1. Chavez from the set. And that one is going to be tapped out by Quiñones. A tough play for Hayes. He's going to throw it over to first, but Quiñones is going to beat out the throw. So the Troopers are going to have one on the infield
Now
single.
batting, the third baseman, number 17, Gabe Hernandez.
Gabe Hernandez is going to come up to the plate. Can kind of redeem himself a little for that error that kind of put a runner on and got the ball turning for the Rebels. So Quiñones at first. Hernandez at the plate now. Chavez on the mound. Chavez deals, and that's going to get in there for a strike on the lower half. Chavez kind of found where the umpire likes it right now. Had a little bit of trouble with Diego Rivera trying to figure out where the umpire really is calling those strikes tonight. As Dave Hernandez is going to take a hack at the off speed in the dirt. So the count quickly goes to 0-2. See if the Troopers do something here with their runner on first, maybe send him, force a little pressure. As that one's going to be rolled up the middle. Chavez is going to flip it over to Ruiz. Ruiz over to first. And a 1-6-3 double play to end the inning. And that's all we're going to have for the first inning. The Troopers can't play anything across as an inning-ending double play kills any momentum. And the Rebels are going to lead the Troopers after one, 2-0. So welcome you back here for the top of the set. Rebels trying to add more to the scoreboard as they plated 2 in top half of the first. Aiden Serrano is going to lead them off here as he's going to foul off one, and that's going to go into the bullpen. Tough first inning for the Troopers defense. Gomez was on the mound pitching pretty good. Defense going to need to help him out a little more tonight if the Troopers want to take a 1-0 advantage on this series, as Gomez sails one high and the count goes to 1-1. A 1-1 to Serrano, and he's going to chop one up the middle. Zamora's going to get to it, but a tough play, and that should be an infield single. That was in kind of no man's land, but Zamora was able to get over there, and he's going to take a quick second, kind of slipped on the turf. He's going to need Zamora needs a second, but seems to be all right. So Jaden Rogers now comes up to the plate. A runner on first, no outs. After that infield single to Zamora. First pitch to him is going to be high and inside for ball one. The 1-0, and that's going to sail a little high. A 2-0 count now, no outs, runner at first. Rebels up 2-0, and that's going to get in there for the first strike of the at-bat there to Rogers. So a 2-1 count now. Gomez kind of just trying to fire away on that mound. Just got back on the rubber very quick, as that one's going to be fouled off. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the counts even. And Gomez is going to check over to first, and this one's going to get him. Serrano kind of jumped towards second, and that was just the 1 second the throw needed to get over there from Gomez to Nunez. So the Troopers are going to get 1 out after a base running miscue by Serrano at first on the pickoff attempt. So now Gomez can kind of take a deep breath and come from the set now. No runner on, two balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss, foul tip actually, but corralled. So Gomez gets another strikeout, his second of the night, and 2 outs now. That's the kind of thing about baseball, you know. Have a runner on, gets picked off. You know, it kind of snowballs. You know, you only get 3 outs in an inning, so it snowballs really now into 2 outs, where we went from a situation just a pitch ago to a runner on, no outs. That's going to be a swing and a miss to the first pitch. Ray Ruiz. Ruiz is going to pop that one up to center. Both the Riveras heading over there, but Diego Rivera is going to call off his twin brother Zosimo, and that's going to do it. So the Troopers, after a leadoff single, able to get 3 straight, and that's going to end the inning. So we're going to head to the bottom of the second with a score, the Rebels 2 and the Troopers 0.
Number 15.
After a scoreless top half, Troopers looking to get on the board here in the second. Well, Nunez, the lefty, is going to lead it off. I believe the only lefty in the Troopers lineup tonight. Chavez comes back out on the mound for the Rebels. He had a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom half of the first. Trying to replicate that, but Nunez says no, sir, as he lines that one just over the first baseman there. And the Troopers have a base runner here early on.
Zosimo Rivera.
Zosimo Rivera now with a runner on first, no outs. Troopers going to try to do something. Rebels are going to go in double play defense here with a third baseman kind of pressed up a little, as Chavez is going to step off just to check Nunez over at first. Nunez is a pretty quick guy. He could get over to second if need be. Rivera is going to look at that first one for strike number 1. Rivera shows the bunt and pulls back on what he thought was going to be a bit low, but now an 0-2 count. It's a tough situation to bunt in with that 0-2 count. Of course, if it goes foul, you're out as the batter, and it kind of puts you in a situation that does you no good since you did not advance the runner in scoring position. You might see Rivera swing away as Chavez steps off once more to check over on Nunez. The Trooper dugout, one of those dugouts that could really get in your head, is Rivera's going to line one up the middle, and it's going to get off Hayes' glove. playing second. He did a great job of covering up the middle, but he's going to sail a throw that did not need to happen. Hayes fired it over to third, and Nunez was not even attempting to go to third, but Hayes launched it over the third baseman, Rogers. Rogers got up there, a tall guy, but just not tall enough to get up to that one. And it actually went in the Rebels' dugout, and that air is going to score a run for the Troopers as they got 2 bases. The umpires are going to meet to see if that should be 1 or 2 bases. Thought it should be 1, since don't know the exact situation that would be if that was kind of like a dead ball situation. It was kind of live though, so umpire is going to discuss it. But errors have really kind of hurt both teams. If this one stands, it's going to be kind of errors have scored runs for both teams. The Troopers in the top half had those 2 errors by Wagner and Hernandez that kind of really just opened the floodgate for the runs. And now this one, the throw from Hayes. The umpire's talking it over, just trying to see. So if it doesn't stand, I believe we would have Nunez at third and Rivera at second if it stands, because Rivera had already kind of established himself on first, because there was no way Hayes was going to make the throw over to first. Play was kind of dead at that point. So I believe we're going to stay. Yeah, we're going to stay here, and the Troopers are going to get their first run of the game after an ill-advised throw from Hayes. So the Troopers get on the board. A 1-2 game now. John Delgado is going to step up. He's playing in the DH role for the Troopers tonight. A 6-hole DH. So no outs. Rivera at third. And John Delgado up to bat. John had a smoking home run on Friday night that cleared all of the 357 out in left field. He's going to try to replicate that, and that's going to be a ball. Really surprised Chavez didn't throw around a little bit during that kind of timeout. It's kind of a little 2-3 minutes in between pitches, so that one might have just been a little bit of rust on Chavez's arm. As the 1-0, and Delgado's going to tap it down. Shaden was kind of shaded over to center, and that was just a good piece of hitting there by Delgado. Got it on the outside part and just kind of kept it down the right field line. So the score is going to go to 2-2. And now the pitcher, Brandon Gomez, is going to try to help himself out here. The 7-hole hitter. Troopers have already played it 2 in the innings on 2 hits, no outs. Delgado's going to be at first. And that's going to be a ball in the dirt. Delgado's going to go over to second on the pass ball. No need for the slide, but he's going to get in there. A little bit of style points on the slide there for Delgado as the count went to 1 ball, no strikes to Gomez. This is just kind of a snowball effect, kind of what happened to the Troopers in the top half of the first. One thing happens, it leads to another, it leads to another. You get some hits going, and it's just an inning right now for the Troopers that they just want to keep going on. So the 1-0 to Brandon Gomez now. And that one's going to hit the dirt again. Chavez having a little bit of a hard time kind of finding his rhythm. A 2-0 count now to Gomez. So the 2-0, and that's going to be high. So Gomez's count goes to a 3-0, and I don't know if your Coach Munoz here down the third base line, I don't know if he's telling him to hold up. Definitely signaled something over to him. No, you don't want to give the Rebels a cheap out here. 3 balls, no strikes, no outs. A runner in scoring position already. And Gomez is going to take a hack on a 3-0. That ball's going. It's off the top of the wall in center field. John Delgado is going to be held at third. And never take my advice on a 3-0 approach as Brandon Gomez sailed that one to the wall. Serrano had to really choose what he wanted to do. He thought that one was getting out of here, and a lot of people did. Just a little bit to the left of that 350 sign. So that one was probably 350. Just kind of got that hard angle that this field has. Kind of where it cuts into that outfield ditch back there. But now runners at the corners, no outs. Delgado had to play that very carefully too. He didn't know if Serrano was going to make a play at the ball. So he was kind of barely creeped off second. Now Lasudain's going to come up to bat for the Troopers. He's in a pretty good situation. Runners at the corners, no outs, and he sees his first pitch high for ball 1. So Chavez is kind of having trouble, like I said earlier, after that kind of timeout we had. Didn't take any warm-up pitches, so kind of just stood there for a while, talked with his teammates. And that's going to be a swing and a miss, so Chavez is going to get a strike there. 1 ball, 1 strike, no outs, runners at the corners. It's Delgado at third, and Elijah Mata at first. He courtesy ran for the Troopers for Brandon Gomez. Gomez is on the mound, so. And that's going to be a ground ball in between Rogers and Ruiz, and that's going to score John Delgado. And a good inning now for the Troopers as they take the lead 2-3. And we're going to have a courtesy runner for the Troopers. Lasudain is the catcher for the Troopers tonight. And we're also going to have a mound visit for the Rebels.
The shortstop, number 9, Corby Wagoner.
I believe that is Casey Cox going to come in to run as we have the mound visit for the Rebels. It's been a hard inning for them. Three runs have already plated. Corby Wagner is now going to step up to the plate after this mound visit, an extended mound visit. You got to think, if you're the Rebels coaching staff right now, that this is just a mound visit to calm down your team. It's been one of those innings you kind of want to just scratch off and kind of forget about. And this is one of those innings that defines a series, really, because the Rebels kind of had all the momentum after the first inning. You know, didn't have the top of the second that they wanted, but they were snowballing it into what could have been a 1-2-3 inning and then back up to bat. But the Troopers got lucky with the Hayes throw. That went over, scored a run, and now tallying some hits. And that's what baseball all is, kind of just building momentum. And that's going to go foul. Man, that was pretty from Wagner right there, but just rolled foul. Rebels were kind of caught sleeping with that one. No balls, 1 strike now to Wagner. So 0-1 count to Wagner. Mata courtesy running at second. Cox courtesy running at first. Wagner's going to show the bunt, but it's going to be low for a ball, so 1-1 count now. Coach Munoz, coaching in his 3rd straight playoff series, is yet to win one with the Troopers. Wagner is going to show the bunt and lay it down foul once more. So the count's going to go to 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs, runner in scoring position. Coach Munoz kind of in a tough position here, you know. You can lay the bunt down on the 1-2. Very risky, though. Wagner also has one of those bats where if he makes contact, the ball's going to sail for a little while. It's one of those hitters, and he gets a hold of it. It's got a chance to get out of here. And Chavez going to check over to Mata at second. Nothing there. So Chavez on the 1-2, and it's going to go low, so the count's going to go to 2 balls, 2 strikes. So the count's even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Risen Hayes kind of playing with Mata back there at second. Chavez takes a look over, but he's going to deliver on the 2-2. The changeup kind of stayed high, and Wagner, if he would have timed that one up, that one was going for a ride. That off speed stayed high, but Wagner fouls it off, doesn't go down easy. 2-2 count still. Chavez steps off once more. So now the 2-2 from Chavez against Wagner, and Wagner takes a swing at one in the turf. And that's going to be a strikeout there. So Chavez kind of puts a little bit of pressure on the wound of what this inning has been by getting the first out. 4 hits for the Troopers this inning. As the Troopers going to flip the lineup over, as Diego Rivera is now going to come up. He is 0 for 1 on the night, as Chavez deals to him. And believe that one missed low. Yeah, that one missed low for ball 1. Chavez on 30 pitches here with 1 out in the bottom of the second. Diego Rivera is going to send that one foul into the parking lot. That's car hunting right there. And so Chavez sets on the 1-1, 1 out. Runner on second and first. Diego Rivera, and he's going to look at that one as that's going to be outside for ball 2. So the Rebels enter the game, 16-16 with 1 tie against a very familiar team to the Eastwood Troopers, East Lake Falcons. It's that 1 tie they got is Rivera fouls that one off, so the count's going to go even at 2-2. And the Troopers enter the night 22-8. So the 2-2 from Chavez now with 2 on, 1 gone. And Rivera's going to take that one. Ruiz going to jump up, but no good. Eli Mata is going to touch third, head home. Casey Cox going to touch third, head home. And that's going to be a 2 RBI double for Diego Rivera. And man, Diego Rivera might have been able to scamper over to third. The throw was arid a little bit from third. Diego Rivera was kind of getting in his double celebration, and if he would have looked up, he might have been able to get to third. That throw was not too good to Rogers over that third. So 5 runs now for the Troopers here in the second inning. And this all kind of started on a careless throw from Hayes on a play that was over. And now the Troopers have played at 5. What a turn of events as Chavez takes a look at Rivera at second. Quinones up to plate. Quinones represents two of the lefties that are in the Troopers lineup tonight, him and Nunez. That one's going to be popped up and head into the bullpen in foul territory. So, no balls, one strike now. Count to Quinones. Quinones playing left field tonight for the Troopers. Left field kind of in a good position now as the building kind of covers the sun. The center fielder and right fielder in a tough position. Sun still kind of glaring in their eyes. You can see Serrano kind of covering his eyes with his hand. If anything gets out there, you got to think it's trouble. And that's going to be low for a ball. So a 1-1 count now. And like I was saying, the sun has played a factor. Wagner dropped one in the top of the first. The sun kind of just glared in his eyes. He had to fight the sun. Those pop flies, when they get up there, they're coming down fast. So kind of had to make a decision as Quinones takes a healthy hack. And the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. In a 5-run inning, a crooked number the Troopers have now put up. Quinones kind of playing with Chavez this time, not letting Chavez kind of get too comfortable on the mound, just let him play with his timing. As Quinones lines one over a jumping, as there you go, Diego Rivera is going to kind of limp home, and man, looks like he kind of pulled a hammy there. He is in some pain as he walks over to the Troopers dugout, and that's a huge part of the Troopers defense.
Now batting, the third
Diego
baseman,
Rivera kind of hit
17,
third and pulled up immediately. Was able to get in there, and now the Troopers have 6. But a bigger storyline is going to be if Diego Rivera is okay. After Quinones got a RBI single, he stayed at first. And that first pitch to Hernandez is going to be on the turf. So 1 ball, no strikes to Gabe Hernandez. So the 1-0, and that one's fouled. Yeah, that's going to be foul. Rogers would have had a great play. Would have went across the diamond there if that was fair. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Runner at first is Quinones. As that's going to be a ball, so the count's going to go to 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Chavez just trying to find his footing. It's been one of those innings, like I've said, you just kind of scratch off the lineup card, scratch off the book. You just want to forget this one, especially in a series, is Gabe Hernandez lines that one over the second baseman, Hayes. And Quinones thought about heading over to third, but the relay was there for the Rebels, and a good job by Hernandez to kind of just turn in on that inside pitch and drive it right back up the middle. And now the Troopers have gone through their lineup here. 9 have came to the plate for the Troopers this inning. 6 have crossed the plate. I believe it's 7 hits in the inning for the Troopers. As the Rebels, they're going to come together and they're going to have a quick timeout. As this might be one of the hottest tickets on a Thursday night for a baseball game, or a high school baseball game. A pretty decent sized crowd. Another standing room only sized crowd is. See Brandon Gomez kind of just staying loose in the Troopers bullpen. It's been a long inning for both teams. And now the Troopers flip over the lineup in this inning alone. As Noah Nunez going to come up to the plate for his second at-bat here in the second inning. And another thing to talk about, the Rebels are going to kind of have to think about what they got to do arm-wise. You know, Chavez was your starter. He's at 42 tonight. So you got to kind of, it's got to kind of start rolling in your mind. What do we want to do? We want to go to the pin and try to work something and maybe mount a comeback. But you got to think if you go behind now, you got to play 2 games. You got to at least have 4 guys that could give you quality games, and that's hard to come by. As that goes in the turf for ball 1 to Noah Nunez. Going back to the pitching situation, it's going to be tough for the Rebels if they have to use 3 guys tonight to just close out the game. A mercy rule is possible as that one's rolled over to first. The only play was Gabe Hernandez at second, as Noah Nunez got over to first pretty quick on the fielder's choice.
Right fielder, number 1, Zosimo.
That was a Netherland over there at first. Tossed it over to the shortstop Ruiz. So 2 gone now, runners at the corners. Troopers just trying to extend the damage they've done in this inning. 6 runs on 7 hits. 6 runs, 7 hits for the Troopers in this inning. And that's going to be a ball to Zosimo Rivera, as his brother across the plate a couple of minutes ago pulled up a little on the hamstring. The 1-0, and that's going to be roped, but caught by Shaden over there in right field, and that's going to end the inning on an inning the Rebels just wish they got out of. 6 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, and the Troopers now lead the Rebels 2-6 as we head to the top of the third.
First baseman, number 19, Cole Netherland.
So Cole Netherland is going to lead off here in the third inning. The Rebels have went through all 9 batters. Netherland's the top of their lineup. It's been a while since the Rebels hitters have been able to swing the bat. That last inning was 30 minutes long. Or last half inning was 30 minutes long. So that's going to be ball 1 on Netherland. A 1-0, and Gomez is going to miss once more. So 2 balls, no strikes. And if you weren't with us earlier, the Lady Troopers did fall to the Keller Indians over in Midland, actually at Midland Legacy High School. They did fall to a state-ranked Keller team. They will have game 2 of that series tomorrow as Gomez gets one by Netherland for strike number 1. So 2 balls on strike, but Lady Troopers in Midland trying to get another gold glove as they took down actually the Legacy Rebels last week in 2 games. That's going to be a foul ball there by Netherlands, so the count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Ellen 0 for 1 on the night. And that one's going to be inside, so the count's going to go to 3-2, a full count here. Very important here for Gomez to get this out. Do not want the Rebels to get their 2, 3, and 4 up, as that's where they do a lot of their damage. As Netherland flies one in, that one's deep. Quinones to the wall, but the field's not going to hold it in as Netherlands sends one out of here. So the Troopers played at 6, but the Rebels say, hey, let's get one back with the Netherland leadoff home run here in the top of the 3rd. And that one was, you kind of felt that one was getting out of here. As soon as it left Netherlands' bat, that one flew for a while. So now the score goes to 3-6. Troopers still have the lead. You kind of thought Netherland missed his, kind of thought Gomez missed his spot there a little. Usually that one kind of flows a little lower. It was a 3-2 count. So you wonder if Gomez was just trying to paint something on the lower half. As that's going to miss low. So after the home run, Chavez is going to come up to the plate. Now with a 1 ball, no strikes count, he's going to try to help himself out. He's the pitcher tonight for the Rebels, and that one's going to foul back to the screen, so the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. It's kind of believe Chavez was the one that hit that hard ground ball over to Hernandez, and Hernandez kind of had a tough play down there, and it was kind of the error that really just snowballed the top half of the inning when the Rebels got 2. But that's going to be a ball, so the count's going to go to 2 balls, 1 strike. Gomez from the set got back on the mound pretty quickly, and it gets in there to even up the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now to Chavez. No outs. Netherland had a bomb to lead off the inning for the Rebels. And that one's going to be grounded up the middle. Zamora's going to get it. He's going to actually flip it over to Wagner because he was out of position to make the throw. Nunez is going to check over, see if Chavez stepped in at all, but he did not. So that's going to be a single there for Chavez, and he's going to have a courtesy runner. So no outs, 1 runner has already crossed the plate for the Rebels. A runner on first now. On what could have been a pretty crazy play if Zamora was able to flip that over to Wagner and now was able to go over there to Nunez at first in time. That would have been one of the craziest things you could see on the diamond. Colmia is going to be the courtesy runner for Chavez. And that's going to be ball 1 to Martin now up to bat. So 1 ball, no strikes, no outs. Brandon Gomez, this will be his 40th pitch of the night. And it's going to be a check swing. The appeal over to first, nothing going. So 2 balls, no strikes now to Martin. Martin 1 for 1 on the night. The 2-0 to Martin now from Gomez. And that's going to be a heater right down the middle. Gomez kind of saying, I'm going to throw it down the middle, and let's see if what gets there first. The bat to the ball or the ball to my catcher's glove. So the count goes to 2 balls, 1 strike. The 2-1, and Martin's going to drive that one deep to right field. It's going to be caught. It says Zosimo Rivera has now moved over to center field. His brother Diego Rivera came out earlier with a believed to be a pulled hamstring. He was rounding third, kind of just stepped on third, and just one of those things you don't want to see. And Ryan Edens is going to take over the duties in right field. But a good hit there by Chavez, caught there by Zosimo Rivera. So 1 out now. The Rebels have got one across in the inning. Colmia still at first, the courtesy runner. Gomez going to check over to Colmia at first, nothing there. Olivas now up to bat for the Rebels. The Rebels trying to put up a crooked number after the Troopers' bottom half of the second was a very crooked number and 6 runs. But that one's going to miss for ball number 1, so count goes to 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out. And that one's going to be fouled back to the net, so the count goes to 1-1. So 1-1 now for Gomez. And Gomez is going to check over to first. Nunez applies a tag, but a little too late. The Troopers have got one on a pickoff move earlier in the second. As Gomez on the 1-1 deals, that's going to be a line drive over to right field. The new right fielder, Ryan Edens, he's going to gun it over to Corby Wagner. Not even playing really in a position where you would typically see, but Ryan Edens with a good arm there to basically just throw it to second where Wagner was standing. That's going to be a hit for the Rebels. So now 2 on, 1 gone. Colmia is going to be at second. Olivas at first. Cordero is going to come up to the plate. He's 0 for 1. No outs. Rebels looking to do some damage. That's going to be a ball in the dirt. It got a little away, but runners will not advance. If you're a Trooper sports fan this weekend, this is one of the weekends you live for. We got track and field at the state competition. Alan Rodriguez and Danny Torres over there. They will run on Saturday in the 3,216 and mile, excuse me. They're over in Austin, Texas at the UT campus. You got the Eastwood baseball team here for all 3 games at the Fort. And you got the softball team over in Midland, as that's going to be a ground ball. Hernandez is going to lose it, and that's going to be another error on the hot corner. Hernandez having a tough night, his second error alone. And that's going to load the bases. Colmia got over there, and he was hustling over there to third. He saw Hernandez, the ball go to Hernandez, and man, a tough break there for the Troopers. There's a huge difference between 2 outs and runners on first and second, between bases loaded 1 out, because anything that leaves the infield is kind of going to score your run here in this situation. Coach Ruben Munoz is going to have a little mound visit, and I don't really think this is for his pitcher. I think it's to settle down his defense, kind of just recollect everyone. You know, had 3 errors. Usually don't see 3 errors in 3 innings, but the Troopers are at that right now. Coach Munoz is going to take a quick visit. Hayes going to come up to the plate. He's kind of in a redemption mindset. He had an error that kind of trickled into the Troopers' 6-run inning. So we're going to see now, can the Rebels plate another one across here in the top of the 3rd? They have got one across already on a leadoff home run. But as long with the Trooper Athletics, you know, you have state gymnastics down the road at Bel Air. So if you're in town, you got two things you could go to. Got some baseball games here. You got state gymnastics over at Bel Air. If you're out of town in Austin and a Trooper fan, you got state cross country, 2 of our athletes down there. And if you're in Midland, in the Basin area, you got the Trooper softball team facing Keller High School in that area around. As that one's going to get down for the Rebels. Hayes is going to poke one in there. Ryan Eden's the new right fielder. He's going to sail the cutoff throw. And, man, a 3 RBI double there for Hayes. I don't really think the relay throw would have made an impact, but it did sail and kind of did take away a play at the plate. Ryan Edens did come in for Diego Rivera. Diego Rivera was playing center. Zosimo Rivera was playing right. So Zosimo moved over to center. Ryan came in for right field. But now the Rebels have played it 4 in the inning, and we're all knotted up. And you kind of started this inning thinking, man, if the Troopers go 1, 2, 3, get back with all the momentum they had, it might be a pretty good inning, as that one's going to be a hard ground ball to Zamora, and he's just going to toss it over to Nunez. But Hayes is going to go to third, and Hayes kind of got redemption, man. He had an error in the bottom of the second that I touched on that kind of got the ball rolling for the Troopers, but that hit kind of not erased it, but kind of made up for it, and now the game's tied at 6-6. And Casey Cox is going to get warm now for the Troopers. So both teams, let's see how many arms they use tonight. You know, it's a 3-game series, best of 3. So you got to win 2 to win the series. As that gets in there for strike 1 to Rogers. But we're going to see how both coaches manage their arms. And that one's going to roll over to Wagner at short. He's going to field it, toss it over to Nunez, and that's going to end the inning. But the Rebels get 4 and leave 1 on, and it's all tied up, 6-6. We're headed to the bottom of the third in this bi-district championship matchup. You're watching Eastwood Trooper Baseball on Eastwood Performance and Athletics Network. We'll be back to Eastwood High School here for the bottom of the third and a 6-6 shootout here. John Delgado is going to lead it off for the Troopers here in the bottom of the third. If you're just tuning in, it has been one of those games where if you're an infield or outfield coach, you know, not too good for you. But if you're a fan of high-powered offenses in baseball, this is the game for you on this beautiful Thursday night as the sun's kind of setting now for us. A little bit of a nighttime breeze comes in. But 1 ball, no strikes now to Delgado. Chavez still on the mound. He's getting close to 50 pitches. He's at 48 with that one. 2 balls, no strikes now to Delgado. So 2 balls, no strikes now to Delgado. He's going to take a swing, and it's going to go foul. Brandon Gomez made a pretty nice play over there in the on-deck circle. So 2 balls, 1 strike. Delgado leading off the inning for the Troopers. After a 6-run second inning, the Troopers going to try to duplicate that or do something to kind of get back ahead here as the Rebels tied it up in the top half with a 4-run inning. And now Delgado in control of the count with 3 balls, 1 strike. As Delgado is going to poke one, and that's going to get over jumping Ruiz. But Delgado gets on, so a leadoff single.
Pitcher, number 6, Brandon Gomez.
A little note, the Troopers, when they get on the base, they're taking a little bit of a hefty, kind of rounding the bag a little harder than usual, because the Rebels have had some trouble with their relays getting them in. There was a situation where, I believe it was Diego Rivera, he got a double and the relay throw was totally off. Had the chance to go over to third, but was kind of celebrating on second, and Coach Munoz was not too happy about that. But Brandon Gomez is going to step up to the plate. The pitcher for the Troopers tonight sees a first pitch ball. And he's one of the, Brandon Gomez, kind of the whole Troopers lineup. Whenever they come up to the plate, they could do some damage. So he takes a healthy swing, and his count's going to go to 1 ball, 1 strike. Like I was saying, this whole Trooper lineup is pretty powerful. And when they get a hold of the ball, it can get out of this park. Not the deepest park you'll see, 348 down right field, a little deeper down left. But kind of, as Gomez just kind of rolls one over to the pitcher, Chavez, and Hayes was covering first.
Now batting, the catcher, number 11.
But Delgado was able to get over to second. So kind of a sacrifice situation there for Gomez. So now a runner on second, 1 out for the Troopers. Noah, excuse me. So Rain's now going to come up for the Troopers with 1 out and a runner in scoring position. So 1 ball, no strikes. One ball, no strikes, 1 out. And that one's going to sail high for ball 2. Today is the catcher tonight for the Troopers. Chavez on the mound for the Rebels still. Trying to make this a scoreless inning. Both teams have only pitched 1 of those so far here as we're in the 3rd. That's going to be a foul ball, and the count goes to 2 balls, 1 strike. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Delgado's at second after the sacrifice bunt from Brandon Gomez. And that one's going to be lined back up the middle. And Delgado's going to hold up at third. So runners at the corners, 1 out. And that throw got past the pitch. No, I believe it was the first baseman there. Yeah, it was the first baseman there. Netherland kind of just working the relay. And that relay for the Rebels has gotten pretty scary. If no one was paying attention at second, Serain could have got to second, but we're going to have a courtesy runner here from Serain. I believe it's going to be Casey Cox. Yeah, Casey Cox is going to come in to pinch run once more. But the relays for the Rebels will have to be something that will be noted, because in a game like this where it's high scoring, it's definitely going to come into play at some point where a relay home is either going to make the game or break the game. As that first pitch to Corby Wagner is going to be high for ball 1. So the Troopers in a good situation here. Corby Wagner up, John Delgado at third, Casey Cox courtesy runner at first, 1 gone. Trying to regain the lead. Troopers now have 10 hits on the night. That's going to be in there on the lower half for strike number 1. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Now to Wagner. He is 0 for 1 on the night. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Chavez takes a look over at Cox at first, and he's going to step off. Chavez on the 1-1. It's going to be a bunt. Corby Wagner is going to get it down. He's running over to first. The throw's in time, but John Delgado scores. Kind of on the suicide squeeze there for the Troopers. Corby Wagner is going to get credit with an RBI there as John Delgado got in. And the Rebels were in no man's land. They were not ready for that. And the Troopers get the lead now. 6-7 here in the bottom of the third. And Ryan Eden's going to come up to the plate. He's substituting for Diego Rivera. And he's going to look at ball one. It's going to get behind the catcher, and Casey Cox is going to head over to third as he got over to second on the sacrifice bunt from Wagner. And those are the things Coach Munoz has been very well executed on this year. Those situations where you don't think you're going to get a bunt, and the Troopers have just been able to lay them down. So Ryan Eden's at bat. He's not got too many at bats this year. Kind of been one of those substitutional guys, and he's going to look at 2 straight balls as that one's going to go inside. So 2 balls, no strikes. Casey Cox on third. If Ryan Edens can get anything in the gaps here, just kind of bloop one down, that's kind of been all the hits tonight. That, and besides the infield singles up the middle, as Ryan Edens' count going to go to 3 balls, no strikes. So a 3-0 count now to Ryan Edens. The 3-0 from Chavez. It's going to get in there on the upper half for strike one. So 3 balls, 1 strike is the count now to Edens. And what a story this could be for Ryan Edens, a senior, been a rotational guy this year, as he's going to get a walk. So a free pass is handed out to Ryan Edens. And going back, Ryan Edens is a substitutional guy. Came in for Diego Rivera, playing in right field, and gets on base in a bi-district matchup between the Legacy Rebels. Victor Quinones now going to come up to the plate. 2 outs, runners at the corners. Troopers did plate one on a suicide squeeze from Corby Wagner. So 6-7 is the score. Chavez still on the mound for the Rebels. He's approaching 70 pitches on the night. As there it is, Quinones pokes one over to short. Ruiz has all kinds of trouble fielding that one. Actually kind of went to a knee and tried to make the play, but no play was there as Quinones hustled down the first base line. Ryan Edens was already basically at second by the time Quinones had a chance. And man, it's a party right now for the Troopers dugout as they get another one across on the air from Ruiz. So Casey Cox scored on that last one. Quinones at first. Ryan Edens at second. Gabe Hernandez coming up. A combined 5 errors for the teams tonight. 2 for the Rebels, 3 for the Troopers. Something not too common, especially in playoff series. Those kind of just add up, and it's really shown a high run tally count right now as we're at 8-6, and Chavez spikes one. Edens heads over to third. Quinones heads over to second. 2 in scoring position now for the Troopers. 2 outs and a 1-0 count to Hernandez. It's going to be a pass ball, I believe. Yeah, that went in as a pass ball. Thought that would be counted as a wild pitch. But Chavez is going to sail another one, so 2 balls, no strikes. And Chavez kind of caught the ball on the rubber. He's kind of just trying to get in a rhythm here. It's been a tough 2 innings for him on the rubber. Defense hasn't been helping him out too much, as Hernandez is going to look at a strike high. So the count goes to 2 balls, 1 strike. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Chavez deals. That off speed's going to get in there on Hernandez, and that one kind of locked him up. Chavez hasn't thrown a lot of off speeds tonight. He's kind of just been doing the work with the curveball and fastball. So that was kind of a little bit, as the name implies, a changeup there. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runners in scoring position, and that one's going to be on the turf. So a full count now for Hernandez. First base is open for Hernandez if he is walked, but that would load the bases for Noah Nunez on deck. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Chavez sets. The pitch, a swing and a miss by Gabe Hernandez, and that's all. The Troopers are going to strand 2 in scoring position, but they also plated 2 and have the lead now 6-8 as we head to the top of the 4th. Welcome you back for the top half of the 4th, as that's going to be fouled off the foot there. And those hurt sometimes. You know, those just go off the foot. And I believe Coach Munoz is coming out to see that hit him outside of the box, because if that hit him when he was running, that's an out for the Troopers as Ruiz kind of just walks it off. That's a hard foul ball off the toe. He's not wearing one of those shin guard, toe guards that you commonly see. But Gomez quickly gets the count to 1 ball, or no balls, 2 strikes now, excuse me. So no balls, 2 strikes here, no outs. Gomez just stepping back on the rubber and blows a fastball, but that one's grounded to Zamora. Zamora's tossing it over to Nunez, and that's going to be the first out of the inning, the 4-3.
Now batting the first baseman, number 19, Cole Netherland.
Cole Netherland's going to come up. He took Brandon Gomez's yard last time up, far to left field. It says 357, but his might have gone a good 380. It hung in the air for a while. So Netherlands 1 for 2 with the homer. Is the leadoff hitter for the Rebels as he fouls that one to the net. And Gomez gets ahead. No balls, 1 strike. And that one's going to miss, so the count's going to go even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gomez in his 4th inning of work. If he could get another inning in, the Troopers probably would go to their bullpen. Casey Cox probably, as that line drive is going to get over the jumping Wagner, and Wagner got up there trying to get that one, but Netherlands going to stay hot. He's got a home run and a single now.
Now batting the pitcher, number 12, Trajan Chavez.
So Trajan Chavez is going to come up now for the Rebels. He is the pitcher for the Rebels tonight, so if he could do something, it's going to help himself out. Now with a runner on, he's 1 for 2 on the night as well. And Chavez, first pitch swinging. That one's Quinones. What a catch. Slides in and grabs it and really robs a single away there from Chavez. And a great play by Quinones over in left field to get out number 2 of the inning.
Now batting the catcher, number 3, Drew Martin.
So Drew Martin's now going to come up. His last at-bat resulted in some runs for the Rebels, and Randy Gomez is going to try to shut the door here on the Rebels. 2 gone. Netherland at first. Martin up to bat. Feel like it's a repeat after repeat on the stat line for the Rebels. 1 for 2 on the night, as he definitely went there and tried to check the swing. Is Gomez just kind of in control right now? You know, the runner on first came off a hard hit line drive from Netherland, but now an 0-1 count with 2 outs. And that's gonna hit Martin actually on the elbow guard there, so he's gonna take a jog over to first. So now the Netherlands gonna be at second in scoring position. Martin's gonna be at first on the hit by pitch. 2 gone. Still a very manageable situation for the Troopers. Olivas is coming up to bat. Martin's gonna get, I believe, a courtesy runner. Coach Munoz wanted to check over to our home plate umpire and make sure Martin didn't kind of lean into that one. But now Olivas batting for the Rebels, and he's going to look at a first pitch strike, the lefty. So Gomez sets on the 0-1, 2 outs. That's going to be a ground ball to Zamora. A simple toss over to Nunez is going to end the inning, and the Troopers put up a donut defensively, and that's really what they needed to keep this lead. And the Troopers do that as they lead the Rebels 8-6 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. And welcome you back to Fort Eastwood Field. Here as the Eastwood Troopers lead the Legacy Rebels in this bi-district championship matchup. The winner of tonight definitely gets a head start on the quest to the bi-district championship. As best of three, it's always good to get that first one out of the way. As the Rebels are going to bring in a new pitcher, Lawson Waters is going to take over the pitching duties for the Rebels. And the first pitch he throws is a strike. So the count quickly goes to 0-1 to Nunez. Kind of felt like Chavez's leash was running a little short after the last half inning. You know, it's one of those innings where it was just good hitting. It was good pitching, but better hitting, you could really say, as the Troopers got two across. As Waters' count to Nunez quickly goes to 1-1 strike, and that's going to be a swing and a miss for Nunez. So now the count's going to go to 1-2 strikes. Chavez went 3 innings. I believe the final line is going to be 6 earned runs for him in 3 innings. So a tough outing for Chavez tonight as Waters tries to keep the Troopers at bay. And wow, oh my, Hayes took a hard tumble there trying to dive for that ball. Sunglasses go flying off.
Now batting.
And great effort there by Hayes, kind of just front rolled while trying to get to that ground ball. Umpire's going to check over to make sure Hayes is okay. It's going to go down as a single. So the Troopers tally another hit. And now Zosimo Rivera is going to come up to play 0 for 2 tonight for the Troopers. So due for something here. Chavez actually headed over to first and is on first base now, taking over the first base duties, as that's going to be ball 1 to Rivera. And Netherland actually headed over to right field. Serrano still in center. Cordero still in left. Rogers at third. Ruiz at short. Hayes at second. Chavez at first. He was pitching and now at first. So count goes to 1-1 strike. And I think Nunez missed the signal there from Coach Munoz. He was very, very angry about something, and it was definitely in Noah Nunez's direction. So might have missed a sign there over at first. As a check over throw after the pitch is going to go over to first. It was a ball. The count goes to 2-1 strike. And Martin behind the plate for the Rebels. So that's the Rebels defense here in the top of the 4th. So Rivera at the plate, the 2-1. Oh, and that one's going to hit him in the back of the head. A good job of getting out of the way and getting the bat down. And a lot of the times in that situation, the bat kind of just gets in the way. And instead of your body getting the ball, the bat, and it goes foul, or even worse, goes in play. But Rivera's going to get the hit by pitch and walk over to first. So Waters comes in, and the 2 runners he faces now are now on base, as John Delgado is going to come on to bat. Martin goes to talk over to Waters to just kind of calm him down. So John Delgado trying to do something now for the Troopers. They got 1 in scoring position, Noah Nunez. Nunez is a quick runner, but John Delgado is going to put down a bunt. Waters is going to flip it over to Hayes as he's covering first. And the sacrifice bunt's going to work. So Nunez is going to head over to third. Rivera's at second. And Brandon Gomez, the pitcher, is going to have the chance to do some damage. 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out. John Delgado did a good job of getting the sacrifice bunt down to put both runners in scoring position. Waters kind of in his first hard situation of his outing. This is the first inning of work, as Brandon Gomez just takes a swing at one in the dirt. So the count goes to 0-1. That might just be one of those pitches where you see
you're just coming out from the on-deck circle and you want to just hit the ball, and that seemed like one of those swings, but that one's going to spike in the dirt, and they're going to get in a rundown. Noah Nunez read that wrong, and believe he got back safely to third. No, he did not. So the pass ball gets Nunez out. The backstop here is not too deep, so really surprised Nunez even attempted at going home. He was like halfway, stopped and tried to go back, and Martin did a good job of chasing him back to Rogers at third, but now a completely different situation. 2 outs and Rivera at second in what could have been kind of the floodgates opening for the Troopers. And that one from Delgado is lined, but straight to Cordero in left. And that definitely would have scored Nunez if he was on third. So a base running miscue is going to take a run away from the Troopers, and that's all the fourth inning is going to do. Neither team gets one across as we head to the top of the fifth with the Troopers leading the Rebels 6-8. Welcome you back here for the top of the fifth. Brandon Gomez getting ready for his fifth inning of work. No one in the Trooper bullpen right now. We did see Casey Cox kind of throwing around in the third inning as Gomez kind of loses the grip there on the first one. But Gomez put up a scoreless frame in the last one. Both teams kind of went silent in that fourth inning. Cordero's up for the Rebels. As Cordero's going to pop one up to Ryan Edens over there in right. Loses it in lights for a little bit, but he's going to get under it, and that's going to be out number one. Ryan Edens in right field tonight.
Number 8, Duncan Hayes.
So Simo Rivera, who started the night in right field, is now in center. Hayes now comes up for the Rebels with one gone. Gomez on 66 pitches right now. If he could finish this game for the Troopers, and the offense can provide a little bit of support. That is a perfect situation that you want to be in, as that one's just going to be a simple line out to Zosimo Rivera. So 2 quick outs for the Troopers here in the top of the fifth. Seems to be the Rebels went for the bleached playoff look on the hair, as majority of their teams got the bleached hair on for the playoff run. Kind of a tradition you see a lot of teams bring out, as Serrano is going to line one, and the Trooper outfield is going to be accredited for all 3 outs this inning, as a 1-2-3 inning for the Rebels as we head to the bottom of the fifth after a quick top. with the Troopers still leading the Rebels 8-6. And welcome you back after the quick top half of the fifth as the Rebels went 1-2-3, the first 1-2-3 inning of the game besides the bottom half of the first for the Troopers. So the Troopers kind of settling in on the defensive side now. 2 back-to-back donuts for the Rebels offensively. And if you're wondering about any other 6A baseball scores around town, the Troopers are the only 6A baseball team to be in action tonight. There's some 5A games around town you could catch. But all the other 1 6A teams and 2 6A teams will kick off tomorrow. As the count is going to quickly go to 1-1. And a good eye there to take the count to 2 balls, 1 strike. Troopers have 11 hits and the Rebels have 2 errors. 5 total errors in game 1 here. A Soudan at bat for the Troopers. Called the timeout there as Waters was taking a little too long for his liking to deliver. The 2-1 is going to be high. So 3 balls, 1 strike. Troopers did not play any last inning. Still lead the Rebels 6-8. As the sun is completely set now in a pretty clear night, as that's going to be a 5-pitch walk. And the Troopers leadoff is going to be on first.
Number 9, Corby Wagner.
And Corby Wagner is going to come up to the plate. He is 0 for 1. Casey Cox is going to come in and courtesy run. La Soudan. Soudan is behind the plate. Him and Brandon Gomez are kind of the pitcher-catcher duo. You'll probably see Corby Wagner and John Delgado tomorrow out there. If I'm Coach Munoz, that's probably who I go to tomorrow, as that one's high and inside on Wagner for ball 1. So 1 ball, no strikes, no outs. Casey Cox, the courtesy runner at first. Waters now in his 2nd inning of work. He came in to relieve Chavez, who had a tough outing. 8 runs for the Troopers came across during his pitching time, but only 6 were earned, as that one's going to stay in, and Chavez is going to catch it. Coach Munoz wanted a balk there. Waters kind of twitched when he went home.
Now batting.
Very surprised that wasn't called. Corby Wagner flied out, so 1 away now. going back to what I was saying, Waters came in for relief for Chavez after 8 runs across the plate for the Troopers, only 6 earned. It's been a defensive struggle for both teams. Ryan Edens now steps up to the plate. He came in the 3rd inning after Diego Rivera rounded 3rd and kind of pulled up on his hamstring. If you missed the early half of the game, it was kind of ugly for both teams. Both teams struggled defensively to get outs. Troopers had 2 errors in the first that kind of led to the 2 runs that they scored. The Troopers put up a 6 spot in the bottom of the 2nd. What really started on a Hayes throw. After the runners were kind of set at 2nd and 1st, Hayes kind of thought, I believe it was Nunez was at 2nd, kind of thought Nunez was going to run over and try to take 3rd. But the throw sailed. Rogers jumped up there and actually kind of tipped it and took it into their dugout. That would kind of get the ball rolling, and it was just a hard inning for the Rebels to swallow. 6 runs came across there. The Rebels replied with the 4 runs on a Hernandez error. That kind of started it. So if you kind of feel the trend, errors have really started the innings for both teams. The Troopers did plate 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. But now Ryan Edens up here in the bottom of the 5th. 1 gone, a 0-1 count. Casey Cox is the courtesy runner at first. Edens shows bunt, pulls back. It was a ball on the pitch. The swipe tag not in time as Cox got back. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Waters sets, Eden shows the bunt, he gets it down. A pretty bunt, the throw's gonna go to 2nd actually, and they're gonna get Casey Cox. A great heads up play there by Martin and Ruiz. Martin noticed Ruiz is covering 2nd, and that's just one of those Tuesday afternoon practices right there. Practicing your bunt situation, what are you doing defensively, and as Martin kind of just didn't even look, he knew Ruiz was there. And they got the lead runner, so the bunt really doesn't work in the Troopers' favor. Really kind of a weird situation why the Troopers bunted there. There was 1 out. Kind of just trying to advance the runner, but Martin threw it over to 2nd instead of 1st. So Edens is at 1st. Quinones is at the plate. 2 gone now. Waters trying to get out of it, put up another scoreless frame. Quinones takes a swing at 1 in the dirt. So he's going to go down 0-1. The 0-1, and that's going to miss low. Waters wanted that one. Edens is going to steal 2nd, actually. Edens kind of walked over to 2nd and got the stolen base there. No one really noticed that Ryan Edens was getting over to 2nd, but he got over. Actually, I believe they called a balk, yeah. They're going to call a balk on that one. That was kind of a weird situation. You kind of saw Ryan Edens just walking over there, but the count was changed back to 0-1. And, yeah, on the monitor in front of me, it pops up as a balk there. So Waters gets credit for a balk. Hayes with a sliding grab and throws it over to Chavez at first. Quinones is – wow, what a throw from Hayes at 2nd to Chavez with the pick at 1st. And the Troopers are going to go scoreless in the bottom half of the 5th. And we're headed to the 6th inning. 6 outs left for the Rebels to catch the Troopers in this bi-district championship matchup. Welcome you back here for the top of the sixth. The Troopers, 6 outs. That's all they need right now to get game one of this series. Brandon Gomez is going to come out for the top of the sixth. He has done a great job on the mound for the Troopers. The 6 runs doesn't really show his pitching performance. The defense kind of hurt him early on and got runners on and put him in situations that he probably shouldn't have been in. But Gomez did a good job settling in. He has 3 scoreless frames, 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth. His first batter is going to be Rogers, and Rogers takes a healthy swing. It's a foul tip. So his count's quickly going to no balls, 2 strikes. Masudain's going to get out there and talk to Gomez a little bit. Maybe something he saw behind the plate that he wants Gomez to attack here. Gomez only at 70 pitches. If he could make quick work of this inning, he could come out for the top of the 7th and save Coach Munoz an arm for game 2 and an if 3, as that's going to be a ball in the dirt. No action once more in the Troopers bullpen. Casey Cox did warm up in the 3rd inning when the Rebels had plated 3. He kind of got loose, but after that, nothing more. Casey Cox has been staying loose kind of with the courtesy running he's been doing, as Rogers fouls one into the parking lot, and count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rogers is 0 for 2 on the night. Trying to get on, just extend the innings here for the Rebels. As a check over to first, they're going to say no go, and that's going to be a ball. So the count goes even at 2-2. And that one's going to be fouled back to the padded wall behind home plate. Rolls back to Gomez there. So the count stays at 2-2. So the 2-2 from Gomez here. A fastball, and Rogers just got a piece of that and sent it to the net. So 2-2, once more from Gomez, and Rogers is not going down easy. These are these innings you kind of want these at-bats if you're a coach. Just kind of grind out the at-bats and make the pitcher make a mistake. As Gomez blows a fastball just inside. Everyone in the crowd wanted that one on the Trooper half. As the count goes to 3 balls, 2 strikes. Gomez now here with the full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Rogers. And it's going to miss. A tough at-bat that Rogers is going to come out victorious of. And he's going to take a walk down to first as Gomez gives up the free pass. And you got to think maybe some bullpen action might start cooking here for the Troopers. Rebels take a quick signal timeout there. So got to think they're going to play situational here and just kind of move the runner over into scoring position. Ruiz is 0 for 2 on the night. As I said, the bullpen action now is going to start for the Troopers. Casey Cox is going to get loose. He's been courtesy running for the Troopers, so his legs are definitely warm. As Gomez could look over at first on that last one. A kind of line drive bunt, and wow, that could have been a bad situation for the Troopers, but Gomez did a good job of covering third. And that's going to go down as a hit, not even a sacrifice bunt, as Troopers got nothing out of that. So now the Rebels have 2 runners on, no outs. Rogers on second in scoring position. Ruiz is on first. And Coach Munoz is going to take a walk out to the mound. And that's going to be it. Brandon Gomez is going to pitch 5 whole frames. And we're going to see Casey Cox come out of the bullpen. We're going to take a quick break as Casey Cox warms up, and we'll be right back with you. And welcome you back. Here is the top of the 6th and the pitching change. Brandon Gomez is going to come out, and Casey Cox is going to come in here. 2 runners on. Gomez is responsible for those 2. Rogers is at second. Ruiz is at first. 1 in scoring position. A 2-run lead right now for the Troopers. 6-8. No outs. And, man, if you're the Rebels, this is who you want up. Netherland to Gomez yard earlier on in the game in the 3rd, and then would lead to a 4-run inning. But he's going to look at ball 1 from Cox. That's Cox's first pitch of the night. And you got to think that was a pretty good outing for Gomez. He was able to get 5 quality innings and even started the 6th. Just takes pitches off your staff in a pitch count kind of situation. That helps because you got to play another game at minimum, and if you fall behind, you're going to have to play 2 if you want to win the series. So if you fall behind a night, you got to play 2 more. You got to have arms. As that one goes foul, so Netherland goes down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. So, runner on second, runner on first, 1-2. That one's going to be a bit high. Good job by Lucerain behind the plate to corral that one, but the count goes even at 2-2. So 2-2, no outs. So the 2-2 from Cox. A changeup in the dirt, and the count goes full to 3-2. I don't know about that changeup there. Netherland on the home run, it was a changeup that Gomez kind of left a little too high. It was an 0-2 count. He took a yard. The 3-2 is fouled off down the third base line, and we're going to stay at 3-2. The Rebels have 6 hits. The Troopers have 3 errors. So Cox, the full count. That's going to be driven. Netherland takes it. Quinones is going to get under it in left field, and that's going to be the first out of the inning.
Now batting the first baseman, number 12, Trajan Chavez.
So no damage done really on that out, as Netherland took that one for a drive, but the runners were unable to tag up. So one gone now. Chavez up to bat. He did start the game for the Rebels. Runners on second and first after that fly ball that didn't advance anyone. Quinones did a great job of getting his feet behind the ball and kind of just gunned it in on the relay. And Chavez is going to look at the first pitch strike from Cox. And that one's going to miss high, so the count goes 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. And a check over to Rogers at second. Nothing there. Cox on the 1-1, and that's going to miss high and outside, so the count's going to go to 2 balls, 1 strike. Chavez is 1 for 3 on the night. And that's going to be fouled, so the count's going to go to 2-2, 1 out. So 2-2, 1 gone. A swing and a miss by Chavez. And Cox is going to send him back to the dugout. So now Casey Cox getting out of the jam. 2 gone. And we're going to have a warning issue to both dugouts as they got a little chirpy after that strikeout. And the Legacy coaches are going to have a word about why they got a warning. Both dugouts have been a little chirpy through the night. It's just kind of common in high school baseball. You got both dugouts in a high kind of intensity game. But did like the decision for both dugouts to get it. You can't just give it to one dugout and not the other. And now we're going to see if the dugouts kind of just calm down. And we're going to have a timeout here, so. So I believe, yeah, we're going to have a pinch runner go to second for Rogers. So the Rebels trying to put on some speed. Kind of surprised they would put it at second, since the tying run is at first. They are down 2 runs. So putting Rogers on the bench, so more than likely re-enter him to get him back. But now 2 outs. Prado's going to be at second. And Ruiz is at first. Martin's up. Martin has got a hit tonight that equaled into some RBIs. 1 for 2 on the night as his first pitch is going to be a ball high. And a 1-0, and that's going to barely miss. Wow, a spot that's been working for the Troopers pitching staff all night leads to a ball there. So 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. And the 2-0, and that's going to be fouled off by Martin straight to his dugout. So 2 balls, 1 strike now to Martin. Prado, the pinch runner, is at second. Ruiz is at first. Before this at bat, if you missed it, both dugouts were warned after a strikeout for Cox to Chavez. Both of them kind of talk to each other a little bit, and that issued the both teams to get warned. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. And the pitch from Cox is going to get in there on a spot that Casey Cox has been working for the 2 innings he's been in, and the count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Casey Cox trying to put up another scoreless inning. A 2-2, a swing and a miss. And Casey Cox sits down Martin, and that's another scoreless inning for the Rebels. So they're going to be battling with only 3 outs left in the top of the 7th, but the Troopers are going to get the chance to put some insurance runs up as they lead the Rebels 8-6. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th here on Eastwood Performance and Athletics Network. And welcome you to the bottom of the 6th. The Troopers trying to put some insurance runs up on the board here, up 6-8. Bottom of the 6th. The Troopers, no matter what happens in this inning, will be leading headed into the top of the 7th. So the Rebels will be against the wall with only 3 outs to play, as Hernandez is going to lead off here for the Troopers, as he's got to run away from that one. It almost clipped him. Waters is on the mound for the Rebels. He is entering his 3rd inning of work. He came in for Chavez after kind of a hard start for him. Chavez is now at first, but the count to Hernandez quickly goes to 2 balls, no strikes. As Waters on 2-0. Hernandez is driving that one. That one's deep, but it's going to stay in the park as Cordero is going to get under it. And that's going to be the first out of the inning. And Gabe Hernandez knows he was a couple inches away from sending that one out of the park. And now Noah Nunez, one of 2 lefties that the Troopers bring out here in their lineup. He is up to bat as Waters delivers, and that's going to be low for ball 1. So Waters threw 2 back-to-back balls to Hernandez, and then Hernandez took the 2-0, and now Waters goes in a hole 1-0, but that one's going to be grounded over to Hayes at second. Hayes is going to toss it over to Chavez at first, but Nunez was hustling down the line, and Hayes kind of had to rush that a little bit. But 2 outs now, so 2 gone. Zosimo Rivera is going to come up to the plate. 2 gone. 0 for 2 on the night is Zosimo Rivera. And the pitch, and that's going to get in there on the lower half. A good frame job there by Martin to kind of elevate the ball. And the count goes quickly to no balls, 1 strike. The 0-1, and that's scraping off the turf for a ball. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, no runners on for Zosimo Rivera. And a swing and a miss there from Zosimo Rivera as the count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Rivera's going to have to protect here a little bit. The 1-2 to Rivera from Waters. And that's going to miss high. So the count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Troopers have 11 hits on the night to the Rebels 6. Troopers do have 3 errors to the Rebels 2. But that one from Rivera is going to be skied into the night sky. Kind of a little bit of trouble. And don't know who caught it actually out there for the Rebels. Believe it was Netherland. Yeah, Netherland caught that one there. A scary situation. Could have led to a base runner there for the Troopers. But the Rebels get out of it. A scoreless frame, and we've gone 3 scoreless from both teams, and we're headed to the top of the 7th with the Troopers still leading the Rebels 8-6. Welcome you back here for the top of the 7th, and the Rebels fighting with 3 outs, but the Troopers looking to slam the door. Casey Cox getting ready for his 3rd inning of work. The Rebels haven't scored since the 3rd inning. The top of the 3rd, they had a 4 spot after a 2-run first. That one gets in there for ball number 1 on the inning. And that's going to miss high, so Olivas quickly gets ahead in the count. 2 balls, no strikes. So 2 balls, no strikes, no outs. And that one's going to miss low. So Olivas goes to a 3-0 count. No action in the Troopers bullpen, so Coach Munoz is kind of saying, Casey, this is your game right here. The 3-0 to Olivas. That gets in there on the bottom half for strike number 1. So 3 balls, 1 strike, no outs. The 3-1 is fouled into the stadium parking lot. So the count's full. Casey Cox works his way back from the 3-0 to get the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Troopers looking to close the door. 3 outs away from getting a 1-0 lead. And there it is. Casey Cox gets another strikeout as Oliva swung and missed. And now the Rebels with 2 outs. And as I said at the last inning, we have action in the bullpen for the Troopers. Cannot see who it is, but 2 arms actually getting warm, as that's going to be high for ball number 1. And that gets in there on the lower half. So Cordero now staring at a 1 ball, 1 strike count, 1 out. Casey Cox locked in, stepping on that rubber quick. It's going to be a grounder to short. Wagner's going to throw it. A long throw over to Nunez, and it gets him. Cordero couldn't beat out the throw, the 6-3, and 2 outs now. Troopers 1 out away from getting a 1-0 lead in this bi-district series. Of course, game 2 will be tomorrow.
Correction number 8.
Now Hayes going to come up at bat for the Rebels. And that's a swing and a miss. A good start for Casey Cox here. No balls, 1 strike, and Casey Cox is locked in. Back on the rubber. Here we go. Foul ball to the stadium parking lot. And Casey Cox now ahead in the count. 0-2, 2 outs. Troopers up 2. Trooper crowd up and loud. The pitch, a foul ball. And kind of a good thing it was a foul ball, as if that was a swing and a miss, that maybe puts Hayes on first, because that got away. So here we go. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Casey Cox trying to close it and actually hits him. Hayes going to take a pass over to first. Casey Cox just kind of lost the grip on that one. Hayes was 1 for 3 on the night as he takes a trip down to first on the hit by pitch. And now Serrano comes up to bat, and he represents the tying run for the Rebels. The Rebels do have a home run tonight. Casey Cox looking to close the door, 2 outs. Serrano at bat, and that's just going to miss. And that's going to be ball number 1. So 1 ball, no strikes. And we are going to have, it might be an ejection. I don't know. I don't know what is happening, but the umpires are pointing to the Rebel dugout. And I don't know what happened down the Rebels dugout. Both dugouts actually have warnings. The warnings were administered after a Casey Cox strikeout. Cox kind of got emotional, but then Chavez kind of chirped back to Cox, and that kind of would administered those. As Serrano pops one up, Brandon Gomez gets under it in center field, and that's it. Game 1 is over, and the Troopers take a 1-0 lead in this bi-district series versus the Legacy Rebels. And now the Troopers are 1 win away from a gold glove. We thank all of you for spending your Thursday night with me, PJ Chavez, on the call, a solo call tonight.